What's up, guys? It's Ben, Benny, and Amanda again. We switch back. Now you can't tell. This is day 15 today. 15. This is our third week in Europa. And today, I think, another day off. That wasn't really a day off, but I was looking forward to today because we were going to go see Billy Shakespeare, a.k.a. William. We have two Williams today. The Conqueror, William the Conqueror, yeah, and William the Writer-Conqueror. Conqueror of the Pen. Yeah. Oh, dang, I thought we were going to go with the same thing.
I know. It's like the SNL sketch where you have to, like, that, you know, the improv game where you have to, like, try to, like, say the same things as each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought
finish each other's
sandwiches.
We're going to be so bad at this game. But yeah, we went, woke up, you know, I didn't set us too early. We got to sleep in and touch. And then we walked over to, it's very interesting. There are two train stations here in Birmingham, which kind of represent what I was talking about yesterday about Birmingham, which is there's like, it's the old, old industry meets new industry. So there's like a lot of the red brick and the canals and the old buildings and the old industry. And then there's all these like designer, I don't know, very artistic, modern buildings. There's like the one up here that has like multiple,
like design.
So the one train station in New Street that we came into yesterday when we arrived was like Frank Gehry, like very like the Chicago amphitheater, and like stainless steel and reflective and very pretty. And then the one we went to today, which is Moore Street, was like, it reminded me of like one of the early stations on when America had train depots, and was just totally 100. And to get there, you go through another super modern that building we took a photo of today, the Bull Ring, which is like part mall, part futuristic flying building, what it looks like. Flight of the Navigator, also a good reference. It kind of, the train station kind of looks like the Flight of the Navigator ship a little bit from yesterday. Anyway, that was a lot. But we went to Moore Street. We took kind of these more regional trains to get to Warwick. I found out today is not where Dionne Warwick lives. Go figure. Really should plan that better. But there is a gigantic castle, and most of the castles we've been to, or ruins or abbeys or the cathedrals, they're all, you get a little guide, you walk through it, there's placards that tell you some history, but it's not very interactive.
The average age of the attendee is probably 56.
Oh, at least. But I guess, the Roman baths had a couple in-character people, and Dover had some in-character folks because it's English heritage.
Right.
So Warwick Castle
was Disneyland.
Was a little like Disney-esque. They had like, throughout the day, we only went to one of them, but throughout the day they had like War of the Roses. So there was like jousting and storytelling. There was like a falconry show. Yeah. There were as you walked through, there was like some people having people learn archery. There was like a knight on a horse that just romped around the ground.
Ran like a Clydesdale.
His name is Bob.
Where did you get Bob from?
I'm just 100% sure that it's Robert, but he goes by Bob.
Okay.
Just based on looks alone.
Anyway, very sweet. Like, you could tell that this was like a very patient and gentle horse, because like all these little kids would kind of.
Yeah, doing
but
photos.
also like the kids were like knew how to behave around a horse.
Yep.
They were not being. They weren't being rowdy.
American.
Yeah.
So then.
But we went to, so one of the scheduled sort of like performances was a jousting sort of tournament, but the context was like the story of the War of the Roses, which is like
the Yorks and the Lancasters.
Right. Spoiler alert, it's where the House Tudor came from.
Damn, you just gave it away right off the bat.
Yeah. Well, okay. I have to put it in context.
All right. I just always thought it was a house that had two doors.
You know that's not how it's spelled, right?
Yes.
But it was really, so they have like these like two kind of horse teams that are like play jousting, but actually doing quite a lot of like horsemanship skills.
And it's a show, so they're like telling the story. They have like two narrators.
And then like on either side of like the jousting arena that you're sitting on, you like side with a team, like the Yorks or the Lancasters. And
I chose the Yorks for us because, you know, it's basically like Game of Thrones is kind of a replay of the War of the Roses, and with dragons and a lot of other stuff, but the King of the North, I had to go with the good guys. Which in history, there's no real thing because they end up just creating.
Just so we're on the same page, you know that Game of Thrones is not historical,
ding,
right?
Ding, 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 ding. For who? I think it's subjective, really. We don't know that it's not. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Okay. Ding, 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 ding. When's it coming back?
Anyway, it was really cool because, like, I thought, you know, the majority of attendees are little kids with their parents, and it was probably, like, maybe a half-hour presentation.
Oh, yeah.
But it was, like, this theatrical piece. There was, like, choreographed, like, sword fights and jousting and stuff, but they were able to communicate a lot of the story of the battles between the Yorks and the Lancasters. I thought it was really...
The shifting power, and a big piece of it was the Earl of Warwick, and who he kind of decided to throw his support behind, kind of tended to succeed. And so as a way of telling the story of Warwick Castle and some of the people that lived there and why they were so important to the history of the monarchy.
Yeah.
And much like I described in the video about Stonehenge, through the performance, like the weather changed. We got like when it got really intense and kind of the battle was heavy, it started raining a little bit.
Just like a little moody drizzle.
Yeah, and it was like got dark.
I don't know how they've manipulated the weather to go along with their
ordered
story,
it up.
but you know, Oscar-worthy performance.
Yeah, by the weather. Yeah, cinematography done by whoever you believe is up there running the weather. I'm just all inclusive in this video compilation.
After that,
or just science, if you like science. It's controversial these days. Anyway, it was awesome. It was cool. I was like inclined to just stick around and watch shows all day, but I kind of set up a little schedule for us. And so we went into the castle last. And you get to like walk the ramparts, so you can walk all the way around and go up in the towers.
Very steep, spirally stairs. So the very first tower I climbed, I just kind of needed a minute because my legs felt like spaghetti.
So and like sometimes when you look down, you get that like feeling in the pit of your stomach, or some people are inclined to feel like they want to jump. Well, when your legs are jello-y, it's like everything's jello-y.
You transform into an entire pasta dish.
It was like that.
But it was really beautiful, like panoramic views and
end of the castle, and it's built right on the river, the river Avon. Avon stands for river, so that's called River. But it's beautiful. There was a mill. It's just like a really, I don't know how else to say it. It's just a really gorgeous place for a castle. Good work, Dion. Yeah, what else? Oh, we went and spent a little bit of time in the Great Hall and the staterooms, and the Great Hall was almost an armory now, dedicated to, and from everything from like mail and armor to like they actually had like some old flint stock pistols and a rifle from 1665.
Blunderbusses, the predecessor to the shotgun.
1665. They were saying it's such a rare gun because it was like a precursor to repeater rifles, which didn't show up for almost 200-something years later. So it was not only technologically advanced, but just very rare. You just don't see them. So that was really neat. Then we kind of went through some of the staterooms, the drawing rooms.
Lots of like gilded ceiling work.
Yeah,
really beautiful,
just really ornate. I don't think any of it was original because they had a fire and stuff, but that was recreated very neatly and nicely.
Yeah.
I learned that Henry VIII did all this wild reformational stuff in England, but only lived to be 38. He caused a lot of trouble by the age of 38. I I guess when you're king, you have that capability. Only took some people 4 years.
That's true.
So castle was awesome.
Yeah.
It was great. The only thing we missed that we wish we could have done is the little dungeon. There was like another character presentation dungeon thing specifically for this summer, but we had a date with old Billy Dubs in Stratford-upon-Avon. And so we left the castle. We grabbed these really great bagel sandwiches in Warwick. Went back to the train. Took the train back from whence we came to Stratford-upon-Avon, which is where William Shakespeare was born, baptized, went to church, courted his wife, and we went to the Holy Trinity Church first, which is where he was buried, along with his wife and kid and daughter-in-law, and no, daughter and son-in-law. Yeah. There we go. Sorry. And it was, I don't know the right word. It was, we were just having a long conversation about William Shakespeare tonight, about like how a lot of us know much about his work, but maybe not as much about him. So it was really kind of special to see this really, I didn't know what to expect in a little town like this, but it was really beautiful and like had a very small town feel, which is something we haven't, besides like Amesbury, haven't seen a ton of. Mm-hmm. And a really beautiful river, the only still operating chain ferry in all of Britain. If you don't know what that is, might want to Google it.
You are missing out.
You are really missing out.
You don't know what that is.
It's a platform that crosses the river based on a chain. So you just like kind of run the dial and it pulls your ferry across instead of using, oars or paddles or any of the other more traditional methods. I thought it was neat, and it's the only one still operating for a fee, of course. But anyway, we went to the church. Was gorgeous, first of all, with a really like perfectly fitting, beautiful cemetery outside, really well maintained inside, several tombs in there. And I just thought the kind of the room where his family was buried was beautiful. Stained glass all the way around. Mm-hmm. It's really, I don't know if you got to see, now I'm not going to remember what the names are for them, but the seating around, because sometimes the sermons would last a long time. So, and they were like hand carved, like scenes of British history. And they were really gorgeous. And the other cool thing about that church is that it's community maintained. So there's like a William Shakespeare Trust, but it's folks who pay in from the community to maintain it and work it. And that's really neat. Mm-hmm. That's definitely more to that small town feel. Yeah. Then we walked along the river, and the Royal Shakespeare Company has 3 theaters there. One's currently closed, but the Swan, the Shakespeare Theater, and I think literally the third one's called the other one. I'm 97% sure it's called that. Maybe 94.
That's what my parents called me. The other one.
Shannon.
And the other one.
Yeah. Shannon! Yeah, the other one. That's all right. I don't feel that way about you. The only one. High fives.
I'm teasing. My parents know my name mostly.
Oh, shoot. Now you're thinking that they might be watching these. How do we go from there? So then we walked back along the river. We went and saw Shakespeare's, where he was born. Mm-hmm. We went through the little shop there because we had to see, just in case, what if there was something just you could not live without, and that we really wanted to carry throughout all of Europe.
We only ever buy postcards and fridge magnets, but we do like a good gift
Our fridge magnets are how we keep track of where we go.
Yeah, it's like a passport that lives in our kitchen.
Yeah. That and drawings from our nephews and other child friends.
You need magnets to hold up the drawings.
Absolutely.
Everything has a function.
We should get Sherman to draw, and then we can put some of his artwork on there. Anyway, much ado about nothing. Anyway, and there was a really neat statue of Billy, and then there was a Harry Potter store, which of course we had to go into as well.
If you were ever just have the burning desire to drop $60 on a wand replica from
They were fantastic.
You know,
I think I've seen one on the internet, though, that actually shoots flames. So I'm going to have to need that. Going to have to get whatever.
I'm going to have to need that.
I'm going to have to need that at some point. Not right now.
I'm going to need me that wand. That's for sure and for certain.
What's it? Ben from the hometown, he always says.
Heights.
No, yes. That's not it. No, I could have. Dang it, I can't remember. Anyhow, it's a southern phrase and I can't remember what it is.
That's what they say when they're trying to, you know, like instead of Accio, they say, need me that wand.
Sure could have needed that.
Yeah.
Anyway, we went to, it was like the oldest pub in the town. I don't know. It's not in Britain. But it was like from the 1400s. Yeah. Thatched roof still on one side. The old thatched roof pub.
It's not all it's thatched up to be.
We should restart this. No, we've restarted none of these, and we're not starting now.
That's why they're just
restarting now. Anyway, we had a little time to kill before the train. We also saw a jester, which was a neat statue. A statue of a jester with all of like 4 quotes from different Shakespeare plays.
Where they mention a fool.
Yes, or jester. 12th Night. That's the only one I remember. Anyway, then we took the train back. Really beautiful. There was like a beautiful, beautiful sunset on the train ride back. Walked back, and then we had passed by a little Mexican restaurant on the canal yesterday that we were like, we got to go back. So we went there. Had a really wonderful like burrito bowls.
Just a little.
They were great.
Taste of home.
And we got margaritas in skull cups, mugs, glasses, skull glasses, because it's like a not Nacho Libre, like you know, the masked luchador.
But really, drinking out of something shaped like a skull is the most Shakespearean thing we could have done today.
Thank you. Do you didn't think about that? You just think about that now?
Yeah, just until. Oh, did you have it planned that way?
Yeah, I definitely knew they had those. I sure did not. Anyway, tomorrow, where are we going?
We're gonna go rent a car.
I loved it so much the first time.
And we're gonna go to Sherwood Forest.
Sure.
And possibly Hadrian's Wall.
No, that we're definitely doing.
Okay, we're definitely going to
We just don't know how much
Wall.
of it. We saw Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves just for the Sycamore Gap, which I gotta go. Christian. Sorry, go ahead.
And then we're gonna meet up with our friends Mark and Jillian.
Yeah.
For a house concert this weekend.
Yeah, and they actually have some cool stuff planned for us. They have a couple castles for us to see, so we're excited.
Scouted locations for
a
us.
Scouting time.
Yeah.
But yeah, that gets us caught up. It's a miracle. We'll be wearing different clothes on the next one, so.
No promises.
We'll see you guys.